Got
Thank
rebuttal
you.
time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My opponent talks a lot about cutting spending. He talks about balancing budgets. He has not done it one single time. He was a junior staffer for Hank Johnson, one of the most liberal tax and spend members of Congress that we have. I have a track record of cutting spending and balancing budgets. In Fulton County, I took on a $100 million budget deficit. I worked in a bipartisan fashion to stave off a massive property tax increase for the people of Fulton County and get that budget balanced. As Secretary of State, I cut that budget by nearly 20% as well. That's a kind of real-world experience. We cannot just sit around and talk about this, that, and the other, of which what John has proposed is essentially just a gnat in the grand scheme of the big budget. What needs to happen is fundamental budget reform. We need to move to zero-based budgeting. We need to break down the silos in the federal government and break down the bureaucrat speak where they talk about, oh, if I don't get the same amount of money I got last year, that's a cut. And that's the kind of talk that comes out of the liberals that John Ossoff is being propped up by and supported by. We need experience, someone who really knows how to deal with a budget.
Mr. Ossoff, you got about 30 seconds here, too.
Well, only a big spending career politician like Secretary Handel would refer to $600 billion as a drop in the bucket. That is $600 billion
In terms of
hard-earned-
balancing
Excuse
this
me,
budget
Secretary
and
Handel, if I
dealing with
might.
a $20 trillion deficit,
If I might.
debt, it is.
And with all due respect, Secretary Handel, you don't have a lot of credibility on fiscal responsibility. When Secretary Handel was the chair of the Fulton County Commission, she plundered the county's cash reserves to balance the budget. In fact, was found just a couple of months ago telling half-truths about it. At the same time, grew her own office budget by more than 40%. What we need is a fresh perspective. Career politicians on both sides of the aisle, Dennis, have been wasting taxpayer dollars for too long.